This video demonstrates how to add assessments to units and then how to schedule those assessments. Okay, so basically assessments are tasks that a student has to complete to finish the unit. So generally this would be an assignment or an exam or a speech or something like that. So the first thing we need to do is find the unit that we want to add the assessment to. And in my case, I'm going to look for this unit, which is called Business Law. And down here, when we scroll down, you can see that this particular unit already has one assignment assigned to it. If we want to look at the details of that assignment, we can do View. And then this is the sort of information we need to fill out for an assessment. So obviously the name, the type, the code ID is mainly used for units of competency because we put competencies in here for the vet sector as well. Min mark, max mark, the weighting, so how much of this assessment goes towards the overall final grade, and the start week and end week of the assessment when it's handed out and when it's due back, and these get turned into dates when you schedule the assessment against the scheduled unit. And then the rest of this information here is mainly if it's a assessment for the vet sector. So to create a new assessment, we literally just hit New Assessment, and then we fill in the rest of the information as we see fit. Assignment number 2, we can give it a type. These types are editable by individual institutions in the code type area, and just say this is, you can then give it a, we can say what the maximum mark is, what the minimum mark is to pass this assessment. It's worth 20%. It's going to start in week, so you get the full semester to complete this particular assessment. You hit active and then you do save. So we've just added a second assessment, and you can see them both listed up here, and I'm now going to add one more assessment. Okay, and I'm going to make that of type exam, and we'll just say exam in here, test, examination. We'll just say exam, minimum mark 50, maximum mark 100, minimum mark 50, weighting will be 60, and then the start week will be week 10, and the finish end week will be week 10, and we're going to make this active. So now we've added 3 assessments to this particular unit, and these assessments become template assessments. So what happens is every time you schedule the unit, you can then schedule these assessments. If for some reason for one semester you're actually going to add a 4th assessment, you can then add that directly in the scheduled unit. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you how to apply assessments to scheduled units. So if we go to scheduled unit details and say show scheduled details on this particular screen, so edit scheduled. So this has loaded up a scheduled unit, and you can see it's got some fees, and it's got some sessions, and it's got one assessment that was already previously put against it. I'm actually just going to then say from this screen, add scheduled assessments from assessments, and it will now go through and for all the actual scheduled assessments listed, do a copy of those and fill out the appropriate form. So if we now have a look at one of these, you can now see that it's a assignment 2 that we just added. The weightings and marks are all the same, but the actual start week and end week have been turned into real dates. If you want to add another one for this particular reason, you also want to say that you want to have a type of assessment called attendance. You can just add one called attendance here and give it a type of attendance, and say, the minimum mark and maximum mark has to be 100 and 0, and that the weighting is not going to contribute, and give it a start date and end date. So I'm just going to make up some dates here, and then we're going to make it active or confirmed and save assessment. So this way you can, for this particular running of this particular scheduled unit, you can actually add assessments as required. Okay, hopefully that helps, and see you next time.